In this age where $1 million house, $500,000 house is pretty standard and our wages are not meeting that, it's just becoming almost impossible for working class families to buy a home, especially in a place like Bellingham where our rents oftentimes are like close to the Seattle rates without the wages meeting that. The Kulshan Community Land Trust, what they do is they own the land and then they sell the house on the land to low to moderate income families who can't afford market price. How it works is basically by owning the land, they ensure that it's going to stay in the land trust in perpetuity. This will be an affordable place to live for the foreseeable future. It's sort of this brilliant solution to a housing crisis.
I'm Whitney.
I'm Audrey.
And I'm Ariel, and this is our small home in Bellingham, Washington.
We've been living here for about 1.5 years now.
So the house is about 870 square feet. It was built by West Coast Homes. They build tiny modular houses out of Linden. So they built this house inside of a factory, and it came to the lot in 2 pieces. So they sent us a video of the 2 pieces on trucks leaving the factory on its way here. They put it in place and now it's our home. So this lot is interesting. It used to be owned by the city and it was sort of just overgrown with lots of invasives and weeds and such. So they ended up donating the lot to our local land trust, who then created this space for the house to go. So we have a lot of dreams of things we want to do in the yard. We've probably achieved about, 5% of those dreams so far. All right, well, come on inside and we'll show you what it looks like. All right, welcome to our home. We are here in the entryway. We just tuck our shoes in this little table here. We got our jackets, purses all hung up on the wall. And then we have our entryway closet. This is where we stash some of our pet stuff. We have a cat and a dog, and as you know, it takes up some space.
We come through here, it was our primary hangout spot.
This is our main living area. It's a big room that's both a kitchen and a living room. It has really tall ceilings, which they did on purpose because of the small footprint. They thought the big ceilings would make it feel a little bit airier and lighter, which it totally does. It feels very roomy. There's a few things that they did when they were planning the layout to make best use of the space. So we don't have a dining room table. Instead, we use this big, beautiful kitchen bar, and we have stools that we sit at or we eat in the living room.
So some of the things we did to make our space special, we were having some drywall issues with the furniture bumping up against. So we ended up continuing the color of the kitchen into the living room by adding this panel wall, which also kind of added style for us too. When we moved in together, we both had separate houses, and actually we were able to join our furniture together pretty well. Considering this is such a small space, we were able to keep our furniture but arrange it in a style that is still comfortable and suits our family. So we can still have movie night cuddle time on the couch, but also if friends come over, we have plenty of space. Along with having a kiddo running around, we also have a cat, a black cat named Phantom, and a dog named Stella. And joining them together when we moved in was a little bit difficult, so we've tried to find some creative ways to have them have their own spaces. One of them including this catio, which we've connected into the doorway. And so we've got the screen coming up here and another screen allowing him to enter the catio, but not having any of the outside elements coming in for us. Phantom loves baking in the sun on the bottom shelf. He's a huge fan. This brings us over to the middle wall, which is a big blank canvas. And we've taken both of our art to create like a joint family aesthetic. Something we did on purpose was hanging the art up high, which brings your focus up to the wall and kind of makes the space feel bigger than it actually is.
For most of my career, I've been in nonprofit fundraising, so I do grant writing. I work for a local nonprofit doing that. And then I just recently sort of got into working in a nursery, trying to dip my toe in a more outdoor field. I had my kiddo when I was a bit younger and didn't have a lot of money. So we have ended up, due to different circumstances, moving quite a bit within town. So at the time when I bought this house, we had moved like 8 times in my kiddo's, 11 years of life. Our last rental was with this really lovely family. It was the house that he had grown up in, and he was really sweet, and he just never raised our rent the whole time we lived there. But I was looking at the rent around us in the neighborhood, and it was like $1,000 more a month than we were paying. And at some point it's gonna tip, it's gonna raise, and we're not gonna be able to afford to live in this area anymore. So the timing worked out really well because I had been on the Kulshan Community Land Trust list for a while. And this opportunity came up to buy a house, and they actually approved me to move forward, and it was sort of unreal and magical that it all worked out in that way. So being able to buy this house means that my monthly payment is going to be almost exactly what I was paying in rent before, which is something that I know I can afford. Being a homeowner is wonderful. I get a little bit of imposter syndrome because I think I fixed in my brain that I was just going to be a renter, that homeownership was out of my reach, and that was okay, which it is okay. You don't need to own your home for it to be a home, but there is some joy in being able to make it your own, not be worried about, is it okay for me to hang this here or to move that? So I feel like there's some creativity that you get to use when you own your own home, and the stability, just knowing that it's there and that somebody's not going to raise the rent, is sort of the biggest and most comforting part of owning a home for me. So this is our kitchen. One of the things with our house being a small house and not a tiny house is that all of our appliances are full size. It's a full size kitchen. So full size oven, full size refrigerator, full size dishwasher, and a really deep sink, which we love. So that's one of the nice amenities of living in a small space, but not a tiny space. So we have lots of great storage, and with having a tall space, it goes up pretty tall, and we're kind of short people. So we always have the stool in our kitchen so we can climb up to reach our storage cabinets. So they're wonderful, and we just find ways to make it work with step stools. And we really like, with the kitchen and the living room basically being conjoined, that you can be cooking and socializing at the same time, have people over here chatting while you're at the stove, or just all sort of gathered around this area. So because of where we came in the building process, they had mostly made all the decisions about details for the house, but we were so happy all the little details that they decided on were things that we totally love. One example is these kitchen lights. They're vibey and they create a lot of ambiance. We love those, and they kind of help to take up some of this overhead space. Another thing are these soft shut drawers. So no matter how hard you hit it, it's not gonna slam, which is really, really nice, especially when you have a kid. And then just things like the colors that they chose, we think everything turned out really nice. Some of the ways we've made the space our own is we ran out of mug storage in our cabinet, so we put up these little racks where we put all of the mugs that people have homemade. We have some creative people in the friend family group, so that's been a sweet addition. And then also a little rack to have more houseplant storage and just some cute living things up here above the sink.
At our tiny homestead, we're often working in the shop or in the garden in the back. So it's easy not to notice someone approaching unannounced.
Hey, babe.
That's why we're so happy with our new Eufy cam S4 2-camera kit. It has eliminated blind spots across our property with its mind-blowing 2-in-1 camera, including an upper 4K fixed wide view camera and a lower 360-degree fast tracking camera. And it does it all without cumbersome wiring. Installation is a breeze. Conveniently, it needs just 1 hour of sunlight for a full day of battery power. Cutting-edge AI tracking always keeps a subject or subjects in focus and automatically adjusts to keep them in the frame. The home base adds Bionic Mind AI, so the system recognizes familiar faces. How cool is that? And there are many more excellent benefits. Click the link in the description below to learn more. Save up to $172 off the Eufy Cam S4 and 15% off all available bundles.
And if you come on over past the entryway, this is where our bathroom is. This is one of my favorite rooms in the house. It's so big for how small the house is in general. And there's a lot of vertical space. So when we moved in here, we had a lot of stuff that we were trying to figure out storage for. So one of the things we did is we built a tall storage rack above our stacking washer and dryer, where we have like our camping gear and extra toiletries, things like that. Our laundry basket is hanging on the wall so that we have more space to move around. Same thing with a towel rack. So just trying to take advantage of a lot of the vertical space in that way, and even tucking things in, like hanging our mops in this little area here. So just finding little cubby holes to put our necessities in. Despite the house being small, the bathroom is actually probably like 2 or 3 times bigger than the bathroom at our last house, which was over 900 square feet. So the size of the shower is amazing. You could actually lay down in the bath. I love that. And this half of the house is where we have 3 bedrooms. So this is my kiddo's bedroom. One of the benefits of owning your own house is you can get real creative with how you decorate things. So a lot of personality in here, capturing what Audrey loves and making it feel cozy. And there's a bunk bed for when friends come over to stay. And then just like a lot of fun kid stuff.
So this is technically a second bedroom, but we call it the annex. It's a community space. I use it most days for my office. So this is a standing desk, and I can stand up and use my monitors that are mounted to the wall. We've also included the storage and crafts up here so that we can access that and have extra storage, which is pretty limited in this room. Other than that, I have not finished this area, but we've taken off the prefabricated door that was on the closet. I couldn't open the door all the way in order to reach my drawers to come out. So I've taken that away, and I've created sort of an armoire inside the closet. Eventually, maybe a curtain will go up or something like that, but I need to put in more shelving to help store my clothes, but also my tools. So this is the last bedroom and is our adult bedroom. We have a comfy area and a nice family collage. This is an extra heat source here. We do have the heat pump that creates cool and heat in the living room in the community area, but we have separate zones in this bedroom, Audrey's bedroom, and the bathroom for extra heat in the winter. Under here we have the dog bed, which comes out at night, but we also store a 10-foot ladder under here to access the storage above the laundry in the bathroom. So that's something we took a long time to figure out. Even though we have tall ceilings, all of the closets have shelves, so we weren't able to store them in a traditional place. So we've had to get creative on some of the things.
The circumstances around this property and this house had a lot of twists and turns along the way. So this lot was owned by the city. It was sort of not being used or upkept in any way. So the city decided to sell it to a different department in the city, which then donated it to the land trust. And then the land trust basically was tasked with how can we build a house on this interesting shaped and sized lot. how can we make it affordable? How can we do it in a way that if it rains for 3 months straight, that we can still be on schedule? So that's when they decided to partner with West Coast Homes and make a house in a factory that was modular that then could be brought to the site. So with all of the donations, and then there was a grant from the Department of Commerce, so all of that went towards making this more affordable for me to buy. So my loan was about $240,000 to purchase the house. I think we decided that like if this was on the open market, it would be $450,000, maybe $500,000, because the location is desirable, it's brand new, it's close to schools, parks, entertainment, things like that. So I ended up paying about half of what it might be market value. So it's not like buying a house at market price where it could double in value over the next 10 years. I just will be able to sell it for what I bought it for with about a 1% increase per year. So it's just a way to accrue equity. If I decided to sell this house, maybe I would, have enough to put a down payment on another one. But that's part of, the magic of I was able to afford it, and that's how somebody else will be able to afford it. I do think with modular homes, there's maybe some stigma around buying a house that wasn't built on site. And I just want to share that, I've had contractors and these independent parties come in to do things, installing the internet, installing our washer dryer, who just are like, oh my God, they did such a good job on this house. People who don't have anything to gain by saying that have just commented over and over again about how well it's constructed, how cute it is, how perfect it is to fit in this little space. I think for me, the biggest thing about being a homeowner was we had moved around so many times and switched school districts sometimes. So I was really looking to just have the stability of knowing as long as I want to be here, I can be here, and that my kiddo could finish, their last 7, 8 years of school, knowing that this is where our home is, it's not going to change, we're not going to move. And I think I was really wanting to create this is my childhood home feeling. My kiddo's dad actually lives 5 blocks down the road, so we have a nice situation where they can just walk between our houses, and it feels like community, and the school is walking distance away, so the park's right across the street, and it's just ended up being really good for them too.
Thanks for stopping by Tiny House Expedition. I'm Alexis.
And I'm Christian, and this is our DIY tiny house on our homestead in Oregon.
Looking for more tiny inspiration? Watch these videos. But if you're looking for something specific, visit our channel homepage to browse tiny homes by category.
And don't forget to subscribe.
Hope to see you soon.